It's been almost 10 years since I pinned on the badge. 10 long years of sirens, crime scenes, and sleepless nights. I've seen enough to fill nightmares for a lifetime, but nothing has ever stayed with me like that one night on the highway. It was late winter. The kind of cold that bites through your gloves and settles deep in your bones. My patrol route was simple. The southbound highway that stretched endlessly under a starless sky. Most nights were quiet, dull even. A couple of speeders, maybe a stranded car, and hours of silence in between. I almost wished for a little excitement back then. I regret that thought now. Around RAM, I was cruising my usual loop when I noticed something strange. A car on the shoulder that hadn't been there before. No lights, no movement. Just sitting there, swallowed by darkness. I drove past it too fast to take a good look, so I took the next exit and circled back. 15 minutes later, I was pulling up behind it. From the start, something felt off. The car was old, a rusted 90s model with a cracked bumper and fading paint. My headlights bounced off the broken rearview mirror as I stepped out, radioing in to dispatch about an abandoned vehicle check. My breath fogged in the freezing air as I approached, peering through the driver's window. My flashlight swept across the seats, empty. But the back seat made my stomach turn. A pile of women's clothes was thrown around, tangled and dirty. It wasn't the presence of clothes that scared me, it was how they were scattered. Porn, like someone had been in a hurry, or a struggle. Then I heard it. A sound, faint, deliberate. Footsteps. They came from the woods, just beyond the guardrail. I turned, flashlight slicing through the trees. But the noise stopped instantly. The silence that followed was worse than the sound itself. "State police," I shouted. "Step into the light with your hands up." Nothing, not even the wind. I could feel my pulse hammering in my ears. I called it in, requesting backup, never taking my eyes off that tree line. Something was out there, watching, waiting. I drew my gun and moved behind the vehicle, trying to use it as cover. Every crunch of gravel beneath my boots sounded like thunder. My light scanned the woods, but all I saw was blackness. Minutes dragged like hours until the distant glow of headlights appeared. Backup had arrived. The moment my partner's car pulled up, we heard movement, fast, frantic. Someone running deeper into the forest. We both turned toward the sound, but by then, whoever it was had vanished. We searched the vehicle. Inside, a few blood smears on the dashboard, a torn purse strap, and an empty box of ammunition. No plates, no VIN number that matched anything in the system. It was like the car didn't exist. We wanted to go into the woods, but without daylight or proper backup, it would have been suicide. Whoever was out there had a head start and maybe a gun. The next morning, we combed through the area again. Tracks, faint footprints in the mud led into the woods, but disappeared. Just a few yards in, no signs of struggle. No body, no ID, nothing. That case still sits open. No suspects, no victims, no answers. But some nights, when I drive that same stretch of road, I swear I see headlights flicker in the distance, in the exact same spot. And every time, I slow down but I never stop, because some things on that highway were never meant to be found. I was 24, juggling community college and a part-time job at a small grocery store downtown. The pay wasn't great, but it was enough for gas, food, and the occasional night out with friends. For the first few months, everything was ordinary. The same aisles, same customers, same slow nights. But then he started showing up. He came in almost every night around 9 p.m. just before closing. Never in a hurry, never with a list. He'll wander through the store for nearly an hour, moving slowly between aisles, like he was studying everything or everyone. And every time, he'd only buy one or two things. Maybe a drink, a can of soup, sometimes just bread. I tried not to judge, but there was something about him that set my nerves on edge. His clothes were always dirty, his hair greasy, and he carried this unsettling stillness like he was watching, even when he wasn't looking. After a few weeks, I got used to his presence. He became part of the background noise of my job, until one night, he wasn't. He walked in at his usual time, but instead of pacing the aisles, he came straight up to my register. His eyes locked on me, cold, unblinking. "Do you drive the old Toyota out there?" he asked. For a moment I froze. How did he know what I drove? My car wasn't exactly unique, but I still didn't like how casually he asked. "Yeah," I said cautiously. "Why?" He didn't answer. Didn't he say a single word? He just stared for a second longer, then turned and walked away, disappearing behind the aisles. I waited for him to come back, to check out, to do something, but he never did. One minute he was in the store, the next, gone. I looked out into the parking lot, expecting maybe he'd be near my car, but it was empty. My Toyota sat under the flickering lot light, like nothing had ever happened. That night, when I closed up and headed home, I checked the back seat before getting in. Nothing. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd been noticed, marked somehow. Days went by, then weeks. The man never came back. Part of me was relieved, part of me curious. Maybe he'd moved on, maybe he'd been arrested, or maybe he just found another store to haunt. Then came that Saturday night. It was late, and I was alone. Last shift, last car in the lot. The sky was clear, but the air carried that kind of silence that makes your chest tighten. I remember walking faster than usual, clutching my bag like a shield. The closer I got to my car, the heavier my gut felt, that crawling sense that something wasn't right. I unlocked the door, slipped inside, and shut it fast. The world outside was still. I put the key in the ignition, the engine came alive, and that should have been the end of it. But then, a sound, a faint rustle, right behind me. It was so soft, I almost convinced myself I imagined it. Then something moved, a shadow in my rearview mirror, a shape shifting in the back seat. My blood turned to ice. I didn't even think, I just threw open the door and bolted, running across the empty lot until I hit the glass doors of the store again. I screamed for help and called the police. When they arrived, my car was still running, but empty. No broken windows, no signs of forced entry. Whoever it was, they had either a key or I'd made a deadly mistake leaving the door unlocked. The police searched the lot, checked the security cameras, but the angle didn't catch the inside of my car. They found nothing. That was years ago, but I still can't park without checking the back seat twice. 'Cause the man who asked about my Toyota, the one who spent months watching me, never came back after that night. Maybe he got scared off. Or maybe he's still out there, waiting for someone else to forget to lock their door. If you're listening, always check the back seat, and don't forget to like and subscribe before you drive away.